Hello, this is Manu.
Hey, this is Steen.
Steen, today we are going to talk about governments and freedom. This is pretty interesting in data ethics, big data, and AI. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, this is a big issue that is related to privacy because if the government has complete access to all our data, then the government will be omnipotent. It'll be able to control us completely. For instance, this country in Denmark, we're discussing whether or how we should make a DNA data bank where the DNA of every citizen in the country is organized. And from a perspective of medical research and health of the population, it's a great idea. Now, but the devil is in the detail, because the way they at this point in time want to implement this, the government actually has a final say in how this data can be used. Not to say that what happens if the government loses control of the data, which our government and the American government, I think every government has lost data, sensitive data by the citizens many times. But let's say that the government, for instance, I'm not saying they will, but they, for instance, decide that they want to they want to save money and they want to use our resources. By having your DNA profile, they could, I'm not saying they would, but they could decide that you don't have a profile so you can actually succeed in a particular kind of education. You belong to another education.
That could be really terrible.
And also, if your DNA profile becomes available to companies, for instance, insurance companies, then if I have a bad DNA profile with high risk of certain, very expensive diseases, then the insurance company can decide, we don't want you in here. But, it gets worse than that, because if we think about what the governments are actually doing today, we can look at a place like China, where they have complete insight in everything, because the social media, the search engine, everything is gathered in one big system in China, and the government controls all these data, and you are actually being given social credits, which are being used for what you can and cannot do in the society. If we think about even worse scenarios, we've learned in history, and I can still remember how it was in Eastern Germany with Stasi. Stasi was a very efficient intelligence agency, and they had complete control, almost complete control over the Eastern German population. But with the kind of new technologies we have today, then the Eastern German Stasi, it's a toddler's operation compared to what we can do today. So if you want to prevent the government forever being able to control you, then we have to make sure that the government does not have access to all our data.
How?
We have to own them. Well, we can just design our systems so that they are privacy by design. We can encrypt our data so that you own your data, I own my data, and I decide which data the government can have. Of course, there'll be laws. And then if I don't want to give away these data, then they can come with a judge, and then I can go to court, and then we can fight it out in court whether I should give the data or not. This is simple. It can be done very easily technologically.
So do you think, Steen, that in the future the real wars are going to be data wars? That governments or big companies and multinationals are going to fight for the data of people? Wars are going to be about data?
Well, today these are cyber wars. We have cyber wars right now. The different countries, the different fractions in the world, they are head on in cyber war. And yes, the companies, the governments, everybody wants the data, because data is knowledge and knowledge is power.
It's power, exactly.
And if you as a citizen want to keep your power, you better introduce data ethics so that we can maintain our privacy. Because without privacy, no fair market, no fair elections, and we will lose our freedom.
So that's the reason why we have to know what is going on with our data, what's going on with all our information that we are posting on the internet day by day. So that's the reason why data ethics is so important in this era of new technologies. Steen, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah,
So we got it all done now?
think so.